Shit. Give me a sec here, as always. All right. So here's the deal. Here's what I want to talk about. In the coming days, um, I'm going to try to get through a little bit of this report here. I don't know why it says my connection's bad, but we'll see how much this gets through. The So in the coming days, I'd like to get through some of this. Um, these are the written voluntary reports. This is from drop number 2, release number 2. And so, hold on, having technical difficulties here. So this is release number 2. Now I want to explain how I'm going to do this, because I tried to do something with this last night, and it's kind of a shit show. And the reason is these are recorded audio. Some of these are recorded audio. When it gets to the written statements, it'll probably be a lot much easier. But as far as the recorded audio stuff for this goes, it's going to be very difficult to read this aloud, to try and narrate this, and I'll explain why. And this is, like I said, I tried to go through a little bit of this last night, and it's kind of a shit show. So, a lot of this we could read verbatim. A lot of this stuff on the top. And like I said, I did this a couple times. I tried to get through it the best I could, and it turns into a confusing mess, and it just turns into a shit show. So, of course, this is a statement on top of the page, got a bunch of redundant information we don't really need. But you can read this if you wanted to read this verbatim. This right here isn't too bad. This first thing, Detective Jappy, time, date, place, talking to this person, whatever. That's not a big deal. But then when you really start getting into reading this stuff, if you did this verbatim, here's the way it ends up sounding. And it's, like I said, it's a shit show. I don't think it helps anybody, right? So you'd say, DJ, okay. And then your address, okay, redacted, okay, not a big deal. DJ, okay. And then number to get a hold of you at, redacted. This question mark means person came into the room, housekeeping. And redacted, then question mark, okay. Guessing that's housekeeping. DJ says K, right? Then redacted. DJ, okay. And then redacted, could we get your birthday? JC, DJ, also, and then redacted. DJ, okay. So see, you start to run into all this, and this goes through the entire thing. As you can see on the screen, you have this NC character saying and that's pretty much what they do throughout this entire interview. As you're as they're transcribing this, but that's what they did. I believe NC was the initials of the person that was being interviewed here. And you could go through that and just read what they had to say. But then occasionally this detective, who's the DJ, and see here, you got another example of a shit show. Like I said, this becomes very problematic to actually read. And God, am I even coming through? Okay, yeah, looks like I'm. So, it becomes very problematic when trying to read this verbatim. And so, when you got a page like this, you have this JC saying, I think, NC saying, it's not, JC saying, people, NC saying, Reno, JC saying, keep saying it's Reno, it's not, because Reno is, NC says it's not. So you end up in this mess, and it's very hard to read these verbatim. So unfortunately, it's one of those things where you're going to have to curate this and kind of read through the story. And I do think these stories are important. I really do. Okay, good. Thank you. I do think a lot of these stories are important, such as this guy, I mean, I thought it was very interesting that this guy saw a person. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, where he says, so we ran across the street, and that's when I saw it, but she didn't see it. There was so by Reno, there was a bunch of cop cars, and then closer to where the exit there were a bunch of cop cars. I'm walking in between. There's a guy dressed in black holding like a giant black rifle in his hand. And then he goes on to say, and he had his hands up like he was surrendering. And everybody just kept yelling, oh my gosh, that's the shooter, or that's one of them. He's surrendering. He's surrendering. I don't know what that was. Okay. He goes on to say, it definitely wasn't like a police officer or like SWAT. I mean, it might have been, I don't know. So we ran across the street to Reno to Hooters. So, these stories are, important. There's a lot of information in some of these. But again, the problem that I'm running into as I tried to do this multiple times last night and failed miserably is that you have a lot of interruptions within this. You have a lot of kind of nonsensical, gibberish going back and forth between the detective and the person. Some of it's hard to even make out. Then you have people coming into the room saying things occasionally that kind of muddies the water a little bit. In this particular interview, this is very confusing trying to read verbatim because at least try and read it aloud, because you actually have a third person in the room that was there with the witness here. So that you have some back and forth going on. This is oh, you like that? So yeah, this is the very first, or this is a release. I believe it's is this release number 2? This is the very first statement on that release. I'm just using this as an example, and I know a lot of you just coming in here. So what I'm trying to describe here is what I'm trying to explain here is my original idea was to try and read these verbatim. As I said, I'm going through these myself, trying to get through all of the evidence that we've had up to this point. My original idea was to read these, like I said, verbatim, but I'm trying to explain how it gets very confusing. It gets very confusing, and it's possible to do it, but it just doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. It gets very, very confusing as you're going through this. So I think what I'm going to have to do with stuff like this is I'm going to have to actually kind of go through all this, and I'm going to have to just kind of give an overview of what's going on within this. I don't think there's any better way to do that. Because like I said, I tried to record a couple of these last night. Well, this particular one, I tried to record it multiple times, just taking the statement of the person, just his words alone. But then occasionally got the detective chiming in, telling him where he was at the time, what streets those are, stuff like that, explaining some of the scenery around the event and all that sort of stuff to try and give him an idea of where he was. And and so then you get caught up reading that. Then you also have a third person in the room that occasionally chimes in with something to help the story along. And so that gets very problematic. So it's very hard, like I said, NC here, these initials NC, that is the person that he's interviewing. I could go down, read just straight the NC stuff, and if I did that, you would have you would have gaps. You would have gaps within the information because there's times when, the detective is actually helping him out. Now, he's not leading him, in this. That's not what I see here. But, he is, helping him out. Such as, right there, this JC says Tropicana because this guy didn't know, exactly where they were. Um, and so, and he agrees. Yeah. So he ran out past Coco's. We tried going into Coco to see if somebody could drive us to the hospital, and then you have a little bit of back and forth there, but the doors are closed. Like they probably, they all were not in the kitchen because there were no patrons, and the door, and so this is another person saying this stuff. So they're adding to this, the story that's being, put out there to this person's story of what happened to him that night. So it gets very, very confusing. And so, it's not hard to read when you're reading yourself because you can sit here and, tell which initials, are what and who's saying what. But then if you're reading it on something like this, it gets very confusing. This right here, would sound like a train wreck, as you're saying. JC, Tropicana, NC, yeah. So it ran out past. We tried to get into Coco's to see if somebody could drive us to the hospital. DJ, NC, but the doors were closed. JC, like they were all in the kitchen because they were all in the kitchen because there were no patrons. NC, yeah. JC, and the door was locked and it's not normally locked at that time. NC, yeah. DJ, okay. And so you're reading stuff like that and it becomes kind of muddy. It makes it a mess. So again, I just came on to say this. I am trying to work on this, but it is complicated. It's difficult because of the way this is done. And so, what I plan to do with this in itself is, I'm planning on kind of just going through it, seeing what the story is, and then just gonna do my thing with just an overview of what the story is because reading this verbatim is not going to really do anybody any justice. It's not going to help anybody. It's it's going to be confusing. And again, these stories are important. I mean, this person saw a dude with a black rifle with his hands in the air saying, "I give up." And yeah, I don't know what he's talking about because I don't know. I haven't seen that. Um, he's not talking about over by the Motel 6, so I don't think. So it's not that dude, but you know, uh I don't know, right outside the concert venue. I mean, I think that's where he's talking about. He's talking about in Reno. So I yeah, I think these stories could be fairly important. So I want to get through them all. And it is what it is. But just like I said, I just wanted to jump on here real quick. Nothing major. Nothing serious. And yeah, I did have fun last night with that video. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, man, that video pissed me off. That just that burns me up, man. I don't like that shit. I mean, I have a predisposition. I guess I'm fairly biased towards CNN anyway. I think they're shit. But as I was watching that, I was getting very frustrated. Just some of the things that they were doing, within that stupid documentary they created. You know, um, I don't like the fact that they decided to throw jabs at Win when that was completely unnecessary. Not that I'm a big fan of Win, but that is unnecessary and it kind of muddies the water. There was a lot of framing going on there, as far as this stuff goes. They started the whole thing, showing photos of the victims when they were trying to explain the Route 91 festival. That really burns me the fuck up because, at that point in that story, they were not talking about the shooting. They were talking about the Route 91 because it just showed the commercial for the Route 91. It's a happy commercial. It looks great, looks fun, whatever. And then all of a sudden they go into showing these photos from the Route 91, but they showed the photos of the victims and they never actually told you that these were the people that died that night. They never told you that, right? So, to me, just burns my ass, man. I don't like that. That was fucked up. And then they went through a lot of, they had their own little narratives there and stuff like that, which not a big fan, not a big fan. The only person throughout that was narrating that I actually appreciated was that guy Steve Sear, because I think that guy is legit. The rest of them, CNN talking heads, correspondents, fuck, dude. I mean, they're bullshit. I have no faith in CNN whatsoever. CNN's a giant propaganda machine these days. That's how I feel. So fuck them. And other than that, like I said, it built a fucking narrative. That's what it did. That's fine. But I don't have a problem with that for the most part. I mean, that's all the evidence you have is building towards a narrative. That's not that big of a deal. But when you add to that narrative, you're no longer giving, telling the news. You're no longer giving a story, whatever. You're now, creating your own conspiracy theories. You're creating your own, stuff like that. These people are not, YouTube channels. These people are actually journalists, right? People are watching them. They should have, they should be held to a higher standard than someone like, say, me, because I'm just some dickhead on YouTube talking shit. These people, reaching out to millions where I'm reaching out to 20, 30, maybe on a good day. So, that's fine, but these people should have, a little bit more moral character than that. And it's unfortunate that these days the media is complete trash and garbage. So, and I think on both sides, man, I really don't, have any faith in any of the media out there right now. But yeah, that video was trash. The only good thing about that video was, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. The only good thing about that video was that there was some footage in there that we haven't seen before. LVSA was in the chat, man. He's going kind of nuts, man, because some of that footage he'd actually thrown FOIA requests for, and they refused to give it to him. And and I'm guessing, and I said this last night for those of you who didn't listen, I'm guessing that the reason they did that, they're doing that to him, is because they don't make money off of him. They could shop this material around forever, and someday, we never know, that this Las Vegas shooting event, may become relevant again within mainstream media when the next mass shooting happens, or something of that nature. And this footage may actually become relevant to somebody, to news organizations, to somebody who wants to utilize it. And those people are going to make money off it. That's what they do. They make money off everything. So, why give it to this guy and put it out there publicly, when you could hold on to this information and shop it around, for a later date. So, I think a lot of that footage, I'm guessing a lot of that footage is exactly that. I'm guessing, hell, Mandalay Bay is probably holding on to this stuff, thinking someday, they'll get a payday off some of this, and possibly, shoot, and they'll probably make more money than the money they had to pay out to the victims, which is kind of sad. So I'm guessing that's what's going on there. But it was good to see, there is more out there. We were talking, I think Matt, you were in here the other day. We're talking about how we don't have dash cams, right? But the dash cams exist. They're out there. We just saw them in that video, So yeah, the dash cams do exist. They are out there. They don't want to give them to anybody. Possibly it's why, man. I mean, that dash cam video right there was kind of interesting, right? Because we see the actual tank shot. We see the shot hitting the tank. That's kind of massive. That's huge. We actually see a bullet hitting the tank. So, that would be a huge video to have, but we don't have it. But it is out there. It does exist, and they still have it. Apparently somebody has it. So yeah, there's still information out there that they're hiding from us. And like I said, I don't think it's anything nefarious. I think it's just probably money based. that would be my guess. I don't see any other reason to hide something like that, especially that, and not when you're going to just release it to the public eventually. Anyway, over a newscast or a story like that. But we did have we had that. We had a little slide of his winnings and losses. We can kind of go back and look at his gambling for those nights and figure out what was actually happening there. The only one that was sketchy was I believe on the 30th when he came up 40 grand, but he came up 40 grand and according to the actual official timeline, he never gambled that night, or at least they didn't put it in the timeline. So if we were taking that timeline verbatim, we have an issue with what was posted in that video. That would be kind of a fucking issue. But, you can always infer that there was some gambling going on between between some of the activities he had during that day. But and then other than that, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, they're framing things in a certain light, certain way. They were most of the video they showed was the same stuff we've seen over and over again, but some of it was not. So some of it was new, and it'd be interesting to see what else was caught on some of these dash cams and stuff like that. That'd be very interesting. But yeah, and anybody who wants to watch it, you can watch it. From what I understand, it will be televised. The people that the people that I know that found it for me say that will be televised on the 25th. They're using Hulu, so I'm not sure if HLN has its own channel or whatever. I don't know where this stuff plays. But, he's got it set to DVR on the 25th. So in a couple days, was that? I don't know. I don't even know what day it is right now. But in a couple days here. So it's 22nd. So what is that? Tuesday. I guess it's going to play Tuesday on TV. So you guys can all see it for free as far as that goes, if as long as you got television, which personally I don't. And then, if you can't wait that long, like I said, I explained it yesterday. I know some people didn't see it because I got questioned on that. You can actually see it if you go to, you look up on, let me put it up here. See if I can find this. Hold on. Just give me some shit here. Oh, there it is. Let me put this on the screen. I'll remove that. Let's get rid of that. I believe, is that it? No, that's not it. That's it. So that's what you're looking at, So for those of you, that are interested in that, I took it down. I mean, I probably could have left it up. I probably wouldn't have had to worry too much about copyright and stuff like that. But I was a little heated, on fire while I was going through that, so I just didn't feel like I wanted to leave that up. But that's the series that we're looking at. And all you got to do is type that into search engine. HLN is the station that or the whatever. So just you got to type in lies, crimes, and video. HLN comes up with where to watch on a couple of those. And I said you can watch it if you subscribe to YouTube TV, which is a complete fucking ripoff. But they do give you a free trial, and I believe the free trial is a week long. So you can sign up for the free trial, at least in theory. I haven't canceled it yet. So these idiots better not ding my credit card for this. But you can, I guess, sign up for a free trial, watch it. I'm guessing then you can just cancel it. Like I said, I didn't read the terms. I just went through it. So Hopefully, I don't get dinged on this thing because yeah, $65 a month or whatever for TV off YouTube is just a complete fucking ripoff. And I realize they don't accept prepaid credit cards on this stuff, right? So they actually want to milk some money from you. So anyway, that was it. That's what we're discussing from last night. And again, eventually I want to go through these reports. I want to start reading, through the reports. I want to do some sort of video so that I have something to look back on personally. Um, and I want to see if I can get through some of these. I'm not going to do them live. I don't think. Maybe I will. I don't know. I haven't decided. Eventually I'm going to have to pay for this StreamYard here because I'm running out of time on this thing. Um, which is fine. I'll sub to that. I don't mind giving them some money. Uh, but as far as reports go, that's that's what I think in the future I'm going to have to do here to get through this and to have some sort of you know log of this on this channel. Um, and yeah, I do want to get through release all the releases as far as even these statements. When it comes to 911 calls, I have no fucking idea how I'm going to do that. Um, I do not want to bore everybody to death with listening to, you know, what 30 something hours, 32 hours, whatever of 911 calls. I don't want to do that live. I don't want to do that online. Um, I've listened to them a couple times, and I mean, the 911 calls are very interesting, I think, but I don't think it's going to make for. Oh, there you go. Okay, you found it. Um, okay, HLN does have its own channel. I didn't even know that. Tuesday, HLN, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And there's only 4 episodes of this, I believe. This looks like one of those series. In a couple of years, maybe a year from now, maybe 6 months from now, you'll be able to find this all over the place. It'll be free everywhere. But you know, uh, this series here, I believe, is canceled, from what I understand, from my TV nerd friends. It sounds like this season or this series is canceled. It's no longer around. They played on this February 21st. They played all four videos or whatever this season 2, all in one night. So they just spit them out onto they spit them out there. Probably knew they weren't going to make much money off of them, so they just gave up on them and they just spit them out, threw them out on the air, so they had something to fill the time, fill the void. So I don't think this thing is going to be very popular or get any traction. So anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. I just want to talk about the future of what's happening here, what's going on. Uh, like I said, release number 2, release number 3 are all documents. They're all written stuff. Um, that is kind of the problem with going through this stuff live is, start reading through written statements. It becomes very confusing and very chaotic. Start going into, the cameras on top of the buildings, on top of the roofs. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to sit here and do a freaking 8-hour watch party of a camera, pointed at a street watching cars go by. To me, that's not very exciting. I don't want to do that. Uh, so it's not just that I'm looking for something exciting. I'm just looking for more than, a traffic camera. Um, I can plug in any traffic camera around the world and, watch that. It's just not stupid. And it's pointless for the most part. There's only a small time frame within those that actually, I think, matters to this. Yeah, got some lag going. All right, there we go. Um, and I can't think what I know a lot of the, like I said, the cameras with street cameras, stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna go right over that. The 911 calls, I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to them again. I'll write some stuff down. I had some notes. Those got blasted with my old phone that got trashed, so I don't have those anymore. Maybe I'll start making it through the 911 calls and kind of try and clip those together so we can you know get through some of it. That's very difficult. It's time consuming. It's a pain in the ass. It's gonna take forever. And the body cams are the easiest thing to get through because or to do live with this because you just play it and watch it. Anyways, guys, that's about all I have. That's about all I want to say. I just wanted to talk about the future, what I was planning on doing, what I'm looking at here, and why it's taking so long to deal with these written releases. And so I'm gonna let you go. Everybody, stay safe out there. As always, the world is fucked up. So take care of yourselves.